Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur. So, as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and you can also follow the Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur fan page. You can find me on Twitter at DGoddess27. Okay, let's get into it. Biden is tapping oil reserve for 6 months to control gas prices. So President Joe Biden is ordering the release of 1 million barrels of oil per day from the nation's strategic petroleum reserve for the next 6 months. And this is what the White House said on Thursday in a bid to control energy prices that have spiked after the U.S. and allies imposed steep sanctions on Russia over its invasion of Ukraine. Now, the White House has said Biden is also calling on Congress to impose financial penalties on oil and gas companies that lease public lands but aren't producing. And he intends to invoke the Defense Production Act to encourage the mining of critical minerals for batteries and electric vehicles, part of a broader push to shift toward cleaner energy sources and to reduce the use of fossil fuels. Now, the actions demonstrate forcefully that oil remains a key vulnerability for the U.S. at home as well as abroad. Higher prices have hurt Biden's approval domestically, while also adding billions of oil export dollars to the Russian war chest as it wages war in Ukraine. They say the release of reserves in the U.S. would create pressure that could reduce oil prices, though Biden has already twice ordered releases from the strategic reserves without causing a meaningful shift in oil markets. Now, part of Biden's concern is that the high prices have not, so far, coaxed a meaningful jump in oil production. The planned release is a way to increase supplies as a bridge until oil companies ramp up their production, with administration officials estimating that domestic production will grow by 1 million barrels daily this year and an additional 700,000 barrels daily in 2023. And so the markets reacted quickly, with crude oil prices dropping about 4% on Thursday morning to under $104 per barrel. Steel oil is up by roughly $60 from a year ago, with supplies falling or failing to keep up with demand as the world economy has begun to rebound from the stupid 19 pandemic. The inflationary problem was compounded by Russian President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, which created new uncertainties about oil and natural gas supplies and led to retaliatory sanctions from the U.S. and its allies. So let me tell you something. They are saying a lot. But at the end of the day, here we go, blaming Putin again, honey. This is nobody but Biden and his administration pulling another piece of another load of their BS, right? And so Biden has still been in talks with allies and partners to join in additional releases of oil, such that the world market will get more than 180 million barrels in total being pledged by the U.S. Americans on average use about 21 million barrels of oil daily, with about 40% of that devoted to gasoline, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. That total accounts for about a fifth of total global consumption of oil. Domestic oil production is equal to more than half of the U.S. usage, but high prices have not led companies to return to their pre-pandemic levels of output. The U.S. is producing on average 11.7 million barrels daily, down from 13 million barrels in early 2020. So Biden is talking about he's going to do all this. I guess they're trying to counter the increasing oil output in a gradual process or whatever. And that's what it sounds like. And basically, my whole thing is Biden's the one who started all this mess. And let's not forget that in November, they actually said they were going to release 50 million barrels from the strategic reserve in coordination with other countries. And after Russia-Ukraine war started, the U.S. and 30 other countries agreed to an additional release of 60 million barrels from reserves, with half of the total coming from the U.S. Then, according to the Department of Energy, which manages it, more than 568 million barrels of oil were held in the reserve as of March the 25th. After the release, the government will begin to replenish the reserve once prices have sufficiently fallen. Please, miss me with all of it. I don't believe anything they say That's what I don't believe, honey. And at the end of the day, um, Biden just needs to try to cancel, dismiss, all right, those sanctions that he imposed on Putin and just get back to business as usual. Because at the end of the day, nothing they have done thus far has stopped that man. He's clearly not to be stopped. And Biden is just putting everybody through the ringer for no reason, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's just all so crazy. And so anyway, everyone, please get the likes up. Please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, let me see if I can find this video really quick. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can find this. Yeah, here it is right here. And it's live. So let me share my screen.
Business insurance.
$1 million barrels of oil per day from the nation's petroleum reserve. The move is intended to help Americans with skyrocketing gas prices, in part because of the war in Ukraine. Russian forces continued to bombard areas of Ukraine where they pledged to scale back, including the capital, Kyiv. Attacks in the Donbass region were also reported. Another round of peace talks are scheduled for Friday, according to the Ukrainian government. And take a look at this. Astronomers believe they have discovered a new star courtesy of the Hubble telescope. This blue supergiant is named Arundel. It's estimated to be about 13 billion years old, and it's the farthest star ever discovered. For more news, download the CBS News app on your cell phone or connected TV. I'm Tom Hanson, CBS News, New York.
So as you can see, this is Biden's oil plan. Like I said, Biden caused all this mess, so it's up to him to fix it, as far as I'm concerned. And stop trying to play the blame game and acting as if everything's Putin's fault. Because at the end of the day, the U.S. got us in this mess. That's what they did. And they have all this money to allocate to other foreign entities and all that stuff, and can't even solve the homeless crisis going on right here. Can't open up mental health facilities for people that have mental health crises and issues. And last but not least, can't give us our reparations, but they have time for everything else, as it seems. And so anyway, it's also crazy. With that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Oh, another thing too is they say the Russian troops, they were rushed from Chernobyl with radiation sickness after digging trenches in contaminated forests. Honey, what did they think was going to happen? I mean, I think we all knew that Chernobyl was full of radiation. It was clearly dangerous. So I don't know why they did that. That's just foolish as far as I'm concerned. They say 7 buses of Vladimir Putin's soldiers suffering from acute radiation syndrome were taken to a hospital in Belarus from the exclusion zone. They say the site of the 1986 nuclear tragedy in northern Ukraine was captured in the opening days of the war, sparking fears of a major radioactive disaster as a result of heavy fighting around the plant. Russian troops allegedly dug trenches in the highly toxic Red Forest zone, according to Union News Agency. And according to workers at the site, Russian soldiers then drove their tanks and armored vehicles without radiation protection through the majorly radioactive area, kicking up clouds of radioactive dust. Honey, how stupid could you be? Like, who does this? A Chernobyl employee branded their actions as suicidal because the radioactive dust they inhaled was likely to cause internal radiation in their bodies. Honey, I don't want to be anywhere where radiation has even been, much less where it's still sitting. And now the 2 Ukrainian sources said that soldiers in the convoy did not use any anti-radiation gear while in the Red Forest, the mostly actively contaminated part of the zone around Chernobyl. So they had the most radioactive part with no mask and no gas mask, no type of protective gear, nothing. Yaroslav Yemelyanenko, an employee at the public council at the state agency of Ukraine for exclusion zone management, said Russian troops were taken to the Belarusian Center of Radiation Medicine in Gomel. Writing on Facebook, he said, digging the trenches in the Radu forest, now live the rest of your short lives with this. There are rules of handling this territory. They are mandatory to perform because radiation is physics. It works regardless of status or chases. Honey, that was just all so crazy. Are they looking to kill themselves? I mean, that's what it sounds like, honey. You go ride around in radioactive dust with nothing over your face, nothing covering your nose and mouth, inhaling all of that stuff, and then you get sick and you wonder why? Please make it all make sense, honey. What were they thinking? I mean, clearly they couldn't have been thinking. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, everyone, please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Peace.